Well, hello everybody. I hope this recording comes out correctly because OBS just crashed on me twice before I just started recording here. So we'll see how this goes. If this video makes it to YouTube, then that means it worked. So if you're hearing this, all should be well. Now what we have here is the showdown, a showdown between one Scotsword, playing the Hunters, famously his favorite faction, and of course Geo, playing Dracula. Now, two of these guys are going to be chatting probably a lot in Spanish, because they're both living in Spain. Maybe even venturing into a little bit of Catalan, which I can't understand except for the only words I know in Catalan are Tio de Nadal and Caga Tio. And if you don't know what that means, just ask Scotsword or Geo. Now, what we're looking at here is a pretty standard Scotsword setup. The man gave his name to one of the most popular setups that you see hunters starting in, and yeah, it looks like he's sticking with it for this game. I don't know that I've ever actually seen him use a different setup. We have to wonder if he feels the need to be on brand all the time with his starting positions. Sleepy Mouse from Red Bog. Well, never seen that user before. Yeah, well, as always, it's kind of hard to fill the time during the first week of a game, and oh, well, look at that. Mina's got a Heavenly Host, and she's with Godalming, so she at least has the opportunity to trade it over to him. Just in case any new viewers are watching this, one reason you don't want Mina to be carrying the card Heavenly Host a lot of the time is because it's a card that, when played against a vampire, it deals 4 damage, which is quite a lot of damage to the vampire. But if the vampire plays Fangs against the hunter who played Heavenly Host, the hunter immediately receives a bite, and Heavenly Host is cancelled, deals no damage. But that bite means, for most hunters, it's not a huge deal. But for Mina, she's already got a permanent bite on her, because of the 1897 whatever novel Dracula. Read that if you want to know more. She's already got a bite on her, and that means that receiving another bite instantly kills her. So, for that reason, playing a Heavenly Host with Mina is a very, very risky move, and you certainly don't want Dracula to know that Mina's got it, because then that just gives him a lot of information about when she cannot, when she can be killed with the Fangs, potentially. So, yeah, this is kind of one of the downsides of the Scotsword setup, is that the character who can play, who can hold more items, John Seward, is not with Godalming. So that the good items Godalming draws, there's less place to put them, they may have to be discarded more. But, of course, one of the upsides of it, aside from the fact that Mina can scan with Godalming next to her, is that if she does pick up something like, say, Heavenly Host, she can have the opportunity to trade it over to Godalming at least, and not be running around with that massive vulnerability on her. But yeah, other than that, it can be tough to keep your train of thought, apparently. Oh well, look at that. She's already done some trading, got some horses on her. Pocket full of horses. Wow, I cannot think of what my sentence was supposed to be there. Just making Prince references. Well, what happened was right, the thing is that I have not been... I've been striking my duties just a bit in keeping up with this league, so I'm not actually familiar with the winnings so far, and like how many people have won what games, partly because the first 2 weeks of this tournament are all one stage, and so we're not going to tabulate and publish the results until I guess this coming weekend. This is being recorded on a Tuesday, so this coming Sunday, I guess, is when the first results will go live. Now, and pardon my sniffliness and cough. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, he's trying to, I guess, put a little bit of distance between his initial encounter and and the rest of his trail. Now you wonder where that would be, because in a lot of cases, in most cases, the way that this first encounter will be revealed is most likely to be a newspaper report, which means the hunters can still get there. So it's not, excuse me, it's not necessarily going to obscure the opening encounter being found. But it does suggest that maybe he's in sort of a more central opening location. So probably not in Athens, for example. I wouldn't necessarily want to start in Athens and then wolf form out of there. You might consider, maybe if you're doing a Bari start, maybe wolf forming all the way to Florence, just to put more distance between you and the bottom of Italy so that you're not getting caught in there by the likes of an early consecrated ground. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what he does with this. I know I've seen a move like this done at times before, but I can't call to mind any examples of where specifically that happened and what the rationale turned out to be behind it once we saw the trail. But yeah, so I don't know where the winnings are, if winnings is the word I want, in terms of these two. I don't know if one of them is ahead and angling to get ahead of the other. But we are, of course, in the round-robin stage where, players are just sort of matched up against a number of other players. They play 2 matches each, once each, as each faction. And then there will be a second similar stage, and the performance in all of those games put together is what will determine who goes to the knockout stage after this. So at this point, people are just trying to rack up wins. Nobody's going to be eliminated. And yeah, for that reason, I have not had my eye on the ball of who is doing how well. You have to imagine Scotsword is probably not doing too shabby. A former tournament champion, long time player. Creating lots of videos teaching everybody else how to play. So he's got some chops. And Gio is certainly a guy who has been improving, as far as I've seen, quite a lot over the last year or so. I still kind of remember when he first started playing. I could usually beat him easily. Definitely not the case now. I haven't played him very recently, but over, I don't know, the last months, maybe this last spring and summer, yeah, he's become quite a formidable player. Alright, so they've got Jonathan, and now they're deciding, do they search with Aggie and just hope for a surprising return to bring her back later? I think that's probably the move, but he's thinking about it. Okay, checking Nantes. So yeah, I agree with checking sort of a non-extremity location. Now, Nantes is a bit of an extremity location, but it's one from which you can go into different directions. I might have thought about something like an Amsterdam check. Maybe even a Bari check, like what I was saying, but that's a bit dicey. But something about that wolf form really makes me think maybe it's not an extreme eastern start, for example, which is often what you want to check the most when you have the opportunity early on. Okay, so Mina, that's a blood transfusion. Not a useful event. Seems like she hasn't had the good fortune to pick up anything better. And now, if I interpreted this correctly, and Godalming took the Heavenly Host off of her, he's got to be hoping that he doesn't draw another one. That's always the tough thing with Godalming, and why I personally like the superhero start a lot, where Seward is over with Godalming. Because Godalming tends to pick up so many items that it's not that infrequent that he picks up too many good items to hold and ends up having to throw away something like a knife or a Heavenly Host that he really would prefer not to. And having Seward with him means those items don't get wasted, and it means Seward can then be kitted out to the max with a knife and a gun and a stake and a horse. And the downside, of course, being Mina's a bit more vulnerable over there in Spain. But honestly, I have not seen, when people play the superhero star, I really haven't seen that many cases of Mina's weak state being exploited over there. Like, you would think that maybe Dracula would be very tempted to start in France or Spain, try to angle for a fight with her, but it's actually not that easy to arrange. You would have to, because Mina's not just going to move, even if Mina knows Dracula's in Spain, she's not going to be moving blindly around there without backup, because she's so vulnerable to fangs. And so because of that, it's not necessarily that easy for Dracula to engineer a fight with her just by starting close to her. What you'd probably have to do is do something more along the lines of starting in France or maybe Barcelona, and trying to time it so that you end up in Bordeaux at the same time as she rails there, because that's often something you see Mina do, is rail from Madrid to Bordeaux. Particularly that'll happen after say like an evil presence pops and it detects that he's not in Spain, she might reel to Bordeaux. So if you can time that right, especially if you can hide in Bordeaux and be there with 2 encounters waiting and she lands on you, then great. But it's pretty hard to finagle. You can't really count on that happening. So I think the temptation or the danger of Mina being attacked by a Dracula starting in Spain tends to be a bit overblown. And now that I'm sure if Wiskacek watches this, he will hear that and say, well, that's a challenge. And he's going to dedicate himself in the upcoming games to starting in Spain and against the superhero start and trying to whack Mina in week 1. But yeah, and I would love to see it happen. But yeah, it's easier said than done, I'll say. All right, well, hopefully we're going to have some action now. Maybe a newspaper report pops and gives these hunters something to do in terms of movement. All right, moment of truth. Is there a newspaper? Oh, there isn't. Bad luck. Bad luck for the hunters. Well, yeah, no wonder he decided to search with Agatha. If he knew that he wasn't holding in newspaper reports, then he definitely went Jonathan Harker in place. But yeah, true to Scotsword form, he's just chilling out. He's supplying. He's going to try to get that deck below 50 events by the time he starts moving, which I think is kind of a good benchmark for if hunters are well supplied enough or not by the time they start moving. But yeah, still no scouting events, and then a couple of allies. Ooh, Mina discarding again. That is brutal. So that means she's definitely holding a knife and either a second knife, and she drew all 3, or she's holding a knife and a Heavenly Host. So Dracula pretty much knows Mina's hand at this point, or not entirely, but to within a pretty good degree of certainty. Because while she could be holding onto something like a garlic or a crucifix or even a gun in place of what I said, that would be some real 4D chess. Because there's really no other card that you discard instead of... Oh, okay, so a Clermont-Ferrand start. So yeah, that's a lesser used start so far. You don't see too many CF starts. But it's an interesting one because it's almost as extreme as Nantes in a way. It's a little bit easier for like these 2 to get to. Because, they can go 1, 2, 3, 4. They can get there in just 2 moves. But from Seward, at least, it's a trickier place to get to. Because the rails don't connect there, so it's going to be 2 moves for him no matter what, unless he burns a sense of emergency. And as I was mentioning, it's a place that you can go in a lot of directions from. So we haven't had a local rumors or an evil presence, so entirely possible that Dracula could be in Spain right now. He could have wolfed to Barcelona, Zaragoza, or Santander. Or, of course, could have gone north or east as well. And the hunters shouldn't have too much trouble, excuse me, uncovering his trail at this point. Because they can check all the key locations. I think we'll know before too long. Okay, so I didn't go to Zaragoza. We should know before too many turns have passed which way he has gone. And sorry, I'm really congested. I'm gonna go and grab some like nostril spray if you like that image. So BRB. Alright, sorry about the delay there. Seward plays wax cylinders, and would you look at that? It was a fake wolf formed to Marseille. That is an interesting play. Oh man, okay, so crap. Well, you the audience, I guess, saw what was in, Oh no, he's just about to, decide what to do with the Clermont-Ferrand, encounter. Right. No, we're caught up. Okay. Wait. No, I'm sorry. I'm all out of whack here. I am, again, shirking my duties as a commentator. I did not see what happened with the Clermont-Ferrand encounter. He didn't lair it, obviously, so he must have matured it, but I don't know what it was. It's not in the discard pile? Did he mature it and choose not to either lair it? My god, I wish I had a co-commentator here. Alright, well, yeah, Seward going straight for the gusto. As long as it's not a... Well, some encounters could... Oh, there's a bats. Okay, so now Mina can still come in and clear it. Whatever it might prove to be. I was going to say, if it's a saboteur and Seward doesn't have a gun, then that would actually stop Mina even from coming in and clearing the encounter in time. But as it is, no worries there. What on earth was the encounter in Clermont-Ferrand? I'm just going to ask them. Okay, he's being bounced into a Geneva vampire. Okay, so giving away some information about his trail there, but okay, makes perfect sense. Bodyguard mature. Yeah, now he's got the bodyguard in play, and that's why I didn't see it in the discard pile. Nice. That's a nice first mature. It would have. The thing is, with Clermont-Ferrand, it would have been caught if the hunters had newspaper reports pop on Saturday morning. So yeah, he's pretty lucky that those newspapers didn't come out. Okay. Pretty good hit for the vampire there. 4 damage. No, against Seward, it's not, particularly impactful since he can heal so fast, but still, you don't hate it. I'm sure the vampire really was hoping to draw a mesmerize there. Keep Seward around and beat him up more. Hit him with something else on top of those claws. But what can you do? Really, I think the most impactful ambush is you want to hit the hunter with the bats and something damaging, like a vampire fight or a mob or bodyguards or whatever, and then bounce them onto a vampire, so they're taking damage from all of those encounters. Because imagine Seward getting hit by a mob and then drop into a vampire. Now he's in a much more dicey position. But and also the fact that he gave away to the hunters where his next move was, now means that they have to spend less time. Okay, so Mina chose to become delayed. That's fair. You do have to wonder, though. I mean, if that thing had matured, it would have taken out the location after Geneva, which, given how well connected some of the locations connected to Geneva are, could certainly mean a lot of jumping around trying to find the trail after that. But, like, if you let that vampire mature, Dracula gets 4 points, but he loses 2 encounters, one of which is a 7-point vampire that you're then going to have to either stake or fight. I almost wonder if... I mean, well, there's a case to be made, I'll just say. There's a case to be made that letting that aristocratic mature might have been Yeah, might have been better because then Mina would save herself a turn. Dracula would then have to choose between, you know, trying to keep his Reckless alive, but still probably losing it to a stake that's most likely in the neighborhood. Or just taking the 4 points, and hunters can see it as a win either way. The only thing is, yeah, you know, if you went to Strasbourg and then on from Geneva, you know, you'd lose the Strasbourg position, so it becomes hard to pinpoint where he went. But still, he's in Central Europe. If you can just check Toulouse and check Munich and Nuremberg, then you pretty much know where he's headed. So I don't think that losing the space after Geneva in terms of trail detection would be that big of a hit of a hit to hunters. And oh, okay, well there it is, Paris. So he's probably hanging out on the north coast somewhere. He might be up in Germany. He could certainly get pushed to sea pretty easily here. He just got to delay, undelay, undelay, undelay. Yeah, I'm really great at this color commentary thing. Sure wish somebody was on this stream with me, Gyro. But I try to keep you guys entertained as well as I can. Not that I can't imagine people are gonna watch it. I mean, like, there's all 3 participants in this game, including myself. And I guess Sleepy Mouse Rug or whatever. Oh no, he's back. Okay, so well, both participants in this game plus me are all recording this, and I mean, how many people are gonna watch my version versus one of the ones that has a player's perspective in it? Now, I guess the smallest audience is gonna be for Geo's because he isn't doing it in either Spanish or Catalan. So at least I have that leg up on him, but I just can't imagine a lot of people choosing to watch my version over Scotswords. And there's so many games being recorded, as we were chatting about in the Discord earlier, that there's too many for people to be watching 2 versions of the same game. Oh, all right. And see, Seward brought a stake right with him. That's another reason why I might have considered, with that bats, I might not have wanted to send Seward there, because giving away the information and the risk that Seward's just got a stake in his pockets, you're saving him a bunch of time of getting there to stake the vampire. And now, yeah, the trail's like half cleared. And Hunter's well positioned. Seward can pretty easily just pop over to Paris to resupply, or maybe even go to Brussels. Check that and then resupply. So Dracula's got his wolf form back. Might be time to use it, especially if there's a vampire in one of these 3 encounters that he hopes might mature. Okay, normal movement. That's fair. Okay, horses on Godalming. Now he can go and check, I'd say, like, one of the northern German cities. Oh, okay, yeah, checking Nuremberg, that also makes sense. Dracula could easily have snuck through Nuremberg, right under his nose. Yep, and there goes Seward just resupplying in Paris. Now, I bet you Mina goes to scan Germany. Ooh, I assumed she was going to scan Germany with Godalming, but sad for her. The horses did not. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, she's gonna start checking the Spain escapes. Obviously, she would like to check Bordeaux as well. But yeah, I don't know. My gut is telling me Dracula's heading east through northern Germany. And for his sake, I sort of hope he is. I really think that moving to Spain at this stage of the game is a death trap. It's pretty easy to drive Dracula out, especially when you've got hunters positioned like they are, and as well equipped as they probably are. You tend to get driven to sea. From Spain, there's like nowhere good to go because of consecrated ground. No matter which direction you go, you're going to be landing, and it can be very easy for hunters to pick up your trail, CG you in. So I prefer Spain. To me, is where you start the game or you end the game. or you go, as you're close to ending the game. Maybe you only need 2 more moves from Fury, then you can get away with escaping by sea from Spain. But yeah, I don't know. I think if Dracula's gone to Spain now, he's gonna end up regretting it. That's my feeling. Also, the most recent game I played, I did that exact thing. Went to Spain, in early week 2. And yeah, got punished pretty hard. So it's on my mind. Alright, horsing around. Now where's he going to go? Is he going to check Berlin? Just rule out the final Eastern sneaky possibility? Oh no. He is... Okay. Okay, well that's good information. We don't know that Dracula didn't go through Strasbourg, but it's looking more and more like he actually did probably go to Spain. Not that way though. Is he hugging the coast? Ooh. Yep, there it is. Hugging the coast. Alright. And the chase is on. Yeah, this is where I think Dracula is going to be forced to sea quite soon. Okay, now she moved to scan with Seward. I guess she didn't want to move blindly into an unknown city, because Dracula could be in Madrid, and Mina landing on him would be bad for Mina. But at the same time, I don't know that Spain needs to be scanned here, because he didn't go... is it possible that he walked across southern France? Maybe, but... I don't see it. I think it's quite obviously he's still in Spain. Oh, no, actually he has to still be in Spain. What am I... Well, okay, no, again. He could have gone Clermont-Ferrand, Geneva... No, he couldn't. No, so he has to be in Spain. I don't know what... So this is... the purpose here is not for the scan. I guess it was for the trade. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, old Jonathan revealing Nantes, which we already knew. Okay, so yeah, Dracula's got to think now, because these hunters are now in a position where they can attack him pretty easily. There aren't that many cities that he could be in, and a renewed vigor, along with a chartered carriage or 2, can easily mean like a 3v1. And especially if they've got a surprising return. Aggie is hanging out there in the discard pile, just waiting for a surprising return to bring her back. So he has to be really cautious, but yeah, he's going for it. He's sticking around. I guess he's gambling that they're going to be concerned about clearing out Nantes and Bordeaux before they attack him. But boy, I mean, sitting right here, it sure looks like he's considering a renewed vigor. Odds are decent that Scotsword has at least 1 renewed vigor at this point, and he's certainly going to think about it, give it some consideration before moving. In the end, he didn't decide to, probably because, again, as scared as Dracula has to be there of such an attack, it's not necessarily a great idea for hunters to do it. Like, if they get lucky and find him, and if they have the forewarns and everything needed to break through any fog, then great, but they're taking a more methodical approach here. Very much sticking to the Scotsword book of, week 1 is to find the trail, week 2 is to clear the trail, and week 3 is for killing Dracula. So he's not jumping the gun. He's not trying to get into week 3 action during week 2. And yes, Dracula gets another day of peace and quiet. Oh. Spy on Seward. Okay, yeah, that's the thing about Seward and spies is he usually has a spare gun to toss away. So it doesn't hit particularly hard. Alright, the delay on Van Helsing. And the loss of the gun on Seward both give... Ooh, and, oh, look at that. Now Dracula gets to stick around yet another turn if he wants to. His 2 hunters are delayed. Seward is down a gun. And Godalming could potentially chart a carriage onto him, but... yeah, I think Dracula feels relatively safe here to stay on land one more turn. Yep, Bordeaux, we need that. Yep, there it is. He's not feeling the pressure to leave, given how delayed and unequipped hunters are. Yeah, I think we probably see Godalming moving down towards Marseille, getting a position for when Dracula is forced out. Oh, okay, heading to Bordeaux. I was going to say maybe you could have Seward head to Bordeaux to pick up another item, but I bet you he goes to Lisbon next, just to start chasing the trail. Actually, I guess he's got to be a bit cautious about going to Lisbon, since Dracula could be there, and Mina's not in position to back him up, so... yeah, he's got to think a bit. Alright, that's fair. No ambush. That's interesting. Why no ambush? Why no ambush? I mean, what? Seward probably doesn't have another gun. So what's he saving the? Saboteur for then? Oh, no weapons on Godalming. Now maybe he's concealing something, but whew. Actually, seems quite plausible that there's no weapons on Godalming because that Heavenly Host we saw earlier. Just checking. No, it hasn't. Ooh, actually, wait. Maybe it was thrown away. Wow, I was not watching the pile closely enough. I wonder if that Heavenly Host did get thrown away. Oh, shocker. Dracula's in Iberia. Oh, wow, okay. Dracula is still on land. Or no, that was the lair. Okay, I think he has to go to sea now, right? It's getting pretty hot in Spain. If he sticks around, he's really risking... Yeah, okay, there it is. Okay, so he's either in the mid or the South Atlantic. Okay, so he is in the South Atlantic from Cadiz. Pretty straight down the middle Dracula play there. Again, though, I mean, they do have a nice long... Well, actually not that long of a trail to clear in Spain. They've only got 3 encounters to deal with in Spain. So unless those are particularly hairy encounters... and we already know that Godalming's got 1 stake, so multiple of those have to be fighting vampires for the hunters to really have... Or rather, both of them have to be fighting vampires for the hunters to have any real shot at being tied up there. Because as it stands, the hunters can just kind of move back out, position themselves, and supply like crazy, get ready for Dracula to land, and, you know, boy, if they've got that, ooh, eating a steak eaten by an aristocratic. It's always too bad for hunters. But at the same time, it buys them time. And they can just keep supplying, maybe draw a money trail, maybe draw hypnosis, and be on Dracula's tail pretty fast. Oh, she's searching. I didn't even realize. Okay, she must be holding an escape route. And he's giving some real thought to this. Curious to see what these are. Okay, a fog. Oh, the fog was the interesting. Whoa. What was the plan there? Because the turn that he placed the fog, if I remember correctly, was the turn that he didn't actually have to worry. No. I guess the turn that he placed the vampire under the hide is the turn that he didn't have to worry about being attacked. And then he doubly didn't since he was already under a fog, but yeah, what was the oh yeah, Holy circling out. What was the motive there for putting a vampire under a hide? Because now that's a fighting vampire the hunters don't even have to worry about at all. Huh. Yeah, this is, I'd say, As I was mentioning earlier, I feel like going to Spain here is probably not going to play out in Dracula's favor. Obviously, you know, Mina's trapped for a bit, but she can just kind of supply while she's there and get out and get moving pretty quick. The others can all position themselves further east. We've already got Van Helsing in a position to supply next to the North Atlantic in case a local rumors comes up and reveals that, or even Evil Presence. And yeah, the others can be out before too long. Because yeah, the problem with escaping from Spain is there just aren't that many places you can go that are not vulnerable to either a mass hunter attack or a consecrated ground. If you go to the Mediterranean in wolf form, then alright, you know, there's a lot of places you can go, but by definition, if you're leaving Spain, it's because Spain is full of hunters, and usually at least one hunter is going to be back in France, so sure, maybe you wolf formed in Milan or Zurich or something, but hunters are still very close to you and can very easily check all of those locations. Whereas if you go further, your list of locations just becomes limited, and the chance of a money trail popping up and then being followed by a CG, that can pretty damn near end the game. You can't really go to the British Isles because it's a consecrated ground. It's just kind of unsafe to be there. As soon as they figure out you're there, you have to stick to the coasts all the time, or be fried by CG. And then going east, yeah, you spend a lot of time at sea, or going north, you spend a lot of time at sea, and then still don't have that many locations that you can land on by wolf form. Now, yeah, ticket economy is not working particularly well for hunters. They've rolled a lot of ones this game. That, I think, is really helping keep Dracula alive here, too. If they keep on rolling ones, they just don't have that ability to chase him. Ooh, that's a shame about that delay. He loses a chance to heal. But might be better than landing on Santander and getting beaten up by another wolves. Oh, no evil presence this turn. Evil presence this turn would have been huge because we would know for a fact if Dracula was in the Med or the North Atlantic. I have to assume he's probably in the Mediterranean because the overall spread of options there is a bit better. Again, with the northern options mostly being tied up in the UK or in Great Britain or in Britannica, which is, again, iffy because of the consecrated ground, or just, a couple of things into Germany, which are pretty easy to check and roll out. Yeah, going east is just slightly, gives you slightly more options there. Mouse from Red Bog. I wonder who this is. Alright. Is he good to see again? Or does he wolf form? Or does he land normally, which screams Cagliari. It's always possible. Most Dracula players, I think, would say it's too early to go to Cagliari here, but... Oh, right, well, yeah, gotta do something with that roadblock. Not a tremendous amount to be done with it, but, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, maybe block Seward's movement into France. For whatever good that might do. I suppose if you are going to wolf form out of the Mediterranean and try to go to Genoa, Milan, or Zurich, or even Geneva, then I guess that blocking that road is... Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, maybe he's doing that. Maybe he's doing exactly one of those things I said and, blocking Seward from immediately pouncing on him. So yeah, at this point, I mean, it's not the worst time to be wolfing out of the Med. Godalming is back here in Spain, still has to supply some more. He's taking a little bit of a beating. Mina will not be able to move for a bit, and even when she does, she's further away from the action. So it's just Seward who can't get to where he is now, or it's Van Helsing chasing him, who, again, could get to Geneva if he's there, but can't get to Zurich, Milan, Genoa. It's also the possibility that he's in Paris or Le Havre. Consider that highly unlikely. Ooh, sense of emergency. Okay, so he's going to check one of these cities. And hope to just land on Drac. Maybe he's even got a heroic leap, although that would be... Okay, no Dracula in Genoa. Heroic Leap would be dicey because whatever encounter Dracula has under him very likely will deal 2 damage, which will then put Seward where Heroic Leap kills him. But yeah, we have some information now. He didn't wolf form into Paris. He could have gone to Le Havre still as the tricky option. or he could have gone to one of these cities. Could be in Spain. I mean, he could have wolf formed back to Madrid, getting really sneaky. I think that's a borderline suicidal move. I don't think he did do that, because once he's discovered, then he's got no way out. But just going through the possibilities here. Yeah, he's got to think hard here. A renewed vigor. I mean, the fact that the sense of emergency is gone, that's a bit of a comfort for Dracula. That means some of the movement possibilities that could lead to, many versus one fights are slimmer. But he's got to think really hard here because he could very easily be attacked and facing 2 or even 3 hunters. And again, surprising return. I think Dracula has to assume that there's a surprising return in the mix. Which then means any fight against a hunter has Agatha involved, and that's very bad. Okay, so we're going to be... Oh, wow! Like I was saying, man, the thing that saves Dracula in this game might be those horses. That's brutal. Okay. Oh, well, alright then. I'm not sure, yeah, I wonder if... Wow, I wonder if Stewart was really expecting him to be there, or if he just wanted to cut off movement options. Interesting. Well, yeah, it looks like Dracula's finally doing back-to-back vampires, which is good, because stakes are being thrown out left and right. They're all gone. And, the pile's about to refresh, but hunters aren't going to be able to spend that much time supplying at this point, so... Finding vampires suddenly do become a tricky thing for hunters to deal with. Now, Venice can also be a dicey place for Dracula to try and get out of. I think he needs to do a lot of damage to Seward here, because if he's in Venice, he does not want to go to the Adriatic, because a consecrated ground when Dracula is known to be in the Adriatic can be devastating. Wipes the entire trail, does 5 damage to him, forces him to move back into a known set of locations. Whereas, these two are like kind of far away from him, so if you can beat Seward up really badly so that Seward can't chase him, but then start moving again by land, he might be able to establish enough of a trail to keep the hunters off him. Again, especially since we're looking at 2 vampires here and no stakes in play. At the same time, though, if hunters are free to start attacking him, they might just ignore this. It's a while before that stuff matures, and given that Dracula's wolf form just got played, he can just be killed and forget these 2. The claws. Oh, okay. I mean, this is actually turning out not badly for Dracula here, because unless Seward has an escape route, he's going to have to go into this fight. And even with Agatha, a 1v1... can be, especially against a weakened hunter here, can be not great for the hunters. Now, I kind of wonder if this vampire might not just play Escape as Mist. It's done 4 damage to Seward, which is huge, ahead of a fight with Dracula. And it probably doesn't want to risk dying and and then giving hunters a free several turns to chase chase the big guy instead of the trail. Yeah, these players are both thinking pretty hard about this fight because the stakes are not low. Oh, yeah, there it is. Doesn't want to risk being... oh, that's too bad for that vampire. If only he had fanged. Could have picked up a sweet influence point and some health to make killing it harder in the future. But you live and learn. Like I said, getting Seward down to 5 there, pretty solid outcome. It means that Seward can't really do the heroic leap on Dracula. Definitely Dracula's worst fear there. Yeah, very bad hand. He may not have had fangs. Ooh, Sharded Carriage. Okay, is he gonna get to Milan or where can he get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Get to Leipzig or Prague. I guess Prague could kind of help him. Oh no. Oh, right. He can get to Venice. Who? Okay. Yeah, that changes things. That does change things. This is no longer such a great outcome for Dracula. If this vampire somehow does manage to do 4 to Van Helsing, that could be alright. Because suddenly you got a hunter in claws kill range, and the other hunter fairly softened up, but yeah, no such luck for Dracula. I guess I am kind of subconsciously rooting for Dracula here, but he feels like the underdog in this situation. Now does Aggie come out? That's the... oh, well, we got Mina's turn first. But I just... oof. I just see a surprising return coming. And that's going to hurt so bad for Dracula. Alright. SR? Oh. No surprising return. Well, that's a big relief for Dracula, because now, yeah, now Seward's at 3. I forgot all about those bodyguards, to be honest. Okay, he's got a rifle, so he's got a way to protect himself from claws. And he's got a garlic. What else does he have? I don't think we know his third item, but probably a Heavenly Host. Could be a knife. Oh, actually, yeah, there's only 2 Heavenly Hosts out, so... I think Godalming has one of them, too, unless he threw that one away. Probably Godalming has 1. So, yeah, actually, decent chance that Seward has a 3rd weapon. But, yep, Dracula's gotta be careful here. He's only at 10 health. Alright, going after Seward, makes sense. Ooh. So he's but okay, yeah, well he got lucky there. He was quite lucky that Seward didn't play garlic. Alright, now is he gonna play Heavenly Host here? I think there's quite a good chance that he has the other one. Oh, is it the bullets? Oh no. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's rough. That is rough for Dracula. Now the question, what is Seward's other card, and can you get a clause onto him, either through Van Helsing or through himself? Because... ooh, this is really tight. This is really tight here. Dracula can't afford a single slip-up. Because they can easily kill him. Depending on what they play. But at the same time, the hunters can't exactly just let Seward be massacred. Oof. Oh, this is tense, man. It just depends on what's in Dracula's hand, too. This might be one of those very unfortunate games. Like, imagine if he's holding a bunch of escapes and plottings here. It should be one of those really unfortunate situations where a razor-thin margin turns into a blowout because Dracula didn't have any cards. That's... Just gonna say it again. One of my biggest gripes about the game is the sheer amount of luck involved in Dracula's combat hand and the fact that he can be sunk in a fight where he really should have a shot just by drawing bad cards. Or inappropriate cards for the situation, we'll say. But, for obvious reason, everyone's thinking hard about this one. Seward really doesn't want to die. That'll be 4 points for Dracula and a major blow to Hunters. And depending on what his other item is, like if there's a way for it to block claws, I think Seward can probably get away with playing a Garlic here, and probably just Garlic and dodging his way out of the rest of this fight. But that kind of comes down to, can Van Helsing prevent claws? Because if that gets played against Van Helsing, then the second damage can hit Seward regardless of what he played. Dodge, it won't keep him out of the dodge, and Garlic, it won't damage Dracula even if he claws Seward with his second claws blow. So, yeah, if Van Helsing doesn't have a way to prevent claws, then suddenly Seward is in a lot of danger. And sure enough, yeah, Dracula's assuming a Garlic or a dodge coming from Seward, playing claws, yep, just going for it. Yep. That's, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Now, is he playing it safe, or did he get aggressive with Seward? Oh, look at that! Oh, that's what I was gonna... that's what I was wondering. Is he gonna assume Dracula won't attack Seward? Oh, wow. That is... That is... Ooh. That is some ballsy swashbuckling play there, Scotsword. Wow. Gotta respect that. Got to respect that. And that probably won him the game right there. I mean, how does Dracula get out of this? He is... Oof. He's put the claws, fangs in the claws. Yeah, how does Dracula get out of this, man? I don't know. It's tight. It's very tight. I think... at this point, they can pretty much just kind of kill him. Almost no matter what. I mean, he can mesmerize or strength one of them, but the other one can do 2 damage. So the only hope he has here is of Dracula, like, playing a fangs. Or, I mean, Dracula's only hope, rather. I'm not talking very clearly. Dracula's only hope is maybe of playing a fangs on the right person, getting the health back. Yeah, there's not a lot of paths out of this quagmire for Dracula here. He's got to hope that they, for some reason, don't play... Alright, well, let's see what it is. Mesmerize, okay, did they play... Alright, well, it's probably GG. Yep, seems like Seward played a rifle. There it is. Wow. Yeah, like I was saying, going to Spain mid-game kills you every time. Kills you every time. It just gave the hunters such an easy path to finding him. Because there's just not that many paths out of Spain once you're in Spain. Okay, yeah, Gio's asking if Scotsword had great strength. Oh, he did not. So yeah, he could... Ooh, that's hard for Dracula to know because he could have killed Seward. Oh, he could have killed Seward on the turn that he played the knife. Yep, yeah, that's what he's thinking about. That's tough. I mean, that's a really hard fight for Dracula to come out of. But yeah, I mean, so Scotsword got a step... It's all about just how many steps ahead of the, like, counteraction game do you think? So Scotsword's like, alright, well, he knows that I'm going to dodge or Garlic with Seward, so, you know, I'll attack with him instead. But if Gio had been thinking the same way, but taking it one step further, then he would have been like, well, I know that he knows that I'm going to claw Seward, or that I'm not going to claw Seward, so I am going to claw Seward, and it would have worked out, but... Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, tough for Dracula to get out of Spain. It's just there's not a lot of great paths for him to do that. Well, anyway, thanks for watching all. This is a nice short game, just over an hour. Well, yeah, hope you all enjoy it, and if in case anybody actually watches this, in addition to Scotsword's perspective, hopefully I added some insight alongside my directionless ramblings. But thank you all for watching, and see you in another video.